What do you have to practice?
This is Justin.
And Teresa.
You're listening to a Perfect Mess podcast.
On today's episode...
I could probably take 56 graders.
50?
50 at once?
50.
Yeah.
5-0.
5-0.
Fuck you. No, you could not.
Sure I could.
No, you couldn't.
Sure I could.
Oh my god,
Fuck
That's
me,
a
you
lie.
said it.
I never said that. I love John Cusack. What?
They've been watching it? They haven't watched anything.
They've been listening to it. God damn it, Justin.
Everybody, go. All right, as you know, this is Justin.
And Teresa.
And you are listening to A Perfect Mess.
I feel like when we do that, we sound like the Osmonds. This is Johnny and Marie. You don't know who the... Okay.
I know who the Osmonds are. I've never watched...
Showing my age.
It's okay. Do you want to not do that anymore?
I don't care. Doesn't matter. You know what I was thinking? And...
Tell me.
What?
Tell me now.
We don't pimp out the liquor enough.
You do it more than you think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then never mind then. I'm just saying that because...
You do it more than you think.
I have a bottle of 1800 silver sitting in front of me right now.
I did a lot of editing the last couple of days. And when you go back and edit, you pick up on a lot of things that you do a lot that you don't necessarily realize.
Like, I curse a lot.
You tell me to go fuck myself at least once every 3 minutes.
I've noticed that I curse a lot, and I notice that I say, I'm not going to lie a lot. Like, not going to lie.
You yell fuck you at least twice every episode.
I do. Whatever. I'm gonna try really hard not to curse as much.
And honestly, I've noticed I let you off the hook a lot.
What do you mean?
I let you off the hook a lot.
What do you mean?
Like, we'll disagree about something, and I am okay with someone not agreeing with me. I am.
Oh, so you're just like, okay, Teresa, whereas I'm like, Justin,
but
you're a shithead.
No, but like...
And I just cursed. I said another curse.
If you don't like a movie that I like, I'm not going to, get all upset about it. To each their own. But I forget what specifically we were talking about. I was making some point, and you just said, fuck you. And I was like, all right, whatever. We moved on to the next topic. So
You shouldn't do that. That what makes, hopefully, this thing interesting.
Yeah, so...
Listen, we're probably... I have a feeling we're going to get into it today.
Not going to let you... We are.
We're going to get into it today.
What are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about Stephen King movie adaptations.
Yes. I'm not going to lie. I have been stewing in my emotions the past, week and a half.
Is it bad that I feel like I know exactly, why you're stewing about certain things?
Off the bat. Have you ever read any Stephen King actual novels?
I have.
What have you read?
I've read Carrie, I read Salem's Lot, I read The Shining, I read It way, way back in the day, and I read Firestarter way, way back in the day.
Okay, I've read It and Pet Sematary.
Really?
Yep.
And here I would have thought you would have read a lot more.
Yeah,
So here's my thing.
Now she starts with the fucking blender.
So, okay, side note. Before we started this, Justin's wife and I went to the liquor store because they sell these Jose Cuervo strawberry lime.
Every time you talk about her, she gives me a look.
Whatever. Margarita things in a can. And she was like, I drank them all. I would like to get some more. So we went and got some. We ended up getting the Jose Cuervo ready-mades in a bottle. It's white peach margarita. Delicious. Mm-hmm. Not overly sweet. I, of course, am adding an extra floater of 1800 in mine. So Stephanie likes them on the rock, not on the rocks, frozen. So
like a slushie.
Yeah. So I blended them up. And of course we just start and she decides to set the fucking mixer off. I cursed again! No!
It's okay. It's all right.
It's not though.
Just try not to yell.
That's the other thing. I yell a lot.
You do yell a lot.
I do yell. I come from an Irish-Italian family. We yell all the time.
All right.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I don't necessarily think in general that Stephen King translates very well to movies.
I agree. I looked a few things up as I was watching these movies, specifically Maximum Overdrive. And he specifically made that movie. He directed that movie because he was sick of other people ruining his books.
I feel like we should say also...
He also said he was coked out of his mind the entire time while filming.
Shocking. I feel like we picked 6 movies that were not... Like, I feel like if people were going to talk about Stephen King movies, they would talk about The Shining and Carrie and It and Pet Sematary. We didn't... I specifically tried to not do that.
Legit, I picked my 3 because I thought you were going to make me watch It, The Shining, and Carrie.
Really?
100%. I'm like, all right, this is... I've known Teresa how many years? This is what she's going to make me watch. Let me pick
and
let me
when
pick
I
the
started
contrast.
to do this,
let me pick the contrast of
when
that.
we said we were going to do this, I said to myself, I was like, okay. I said, listen, for the most part in past episodes, I've been very commercial and very predictable. And I was like,
on my toes.
I said, I don't want to do that this time.
Let me get your blanket.
No. So I
cold in
really tried to pick 3 movies that were outside of like the norm of Stephen King. And listen, I debated. I wasn't going to pick Carrie. I wasn't going to pick The Shining. I wasn't going to pick It because we had discussed doing a future episode like made for TV movies.
Yeah. I'm excited for that one, by the way.
I
have 2 really good ones.
Oh, God. I don't know if I could... okay. I'm not even going to get into it now.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, neither here nor there. So I tried to pick 3 really like movies that I had seen, not seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of them I've only seen like once, but I was like, all right, it's a cool movie. But I really tried to stay away from those like commercial type movies, although I debated highly throwing Pet Sematary into mine.
Okay.
And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And that's why I picked Children of the Corn. So I picked Children of the Corn, The Mist, and Firestarter. And I can tell you right now that Justin hates me for making him watch Firestarter, and he hates me for making him watch Children of the Corn.
Nope.
Really?
Nope. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Wow.
My 3 were Creepshow. I thought it would be very clever and pick Creepshow.
Creepshow 2.
Creepshow 2.
Yes, which I was upset about. I was going to put that on my list. One. I did.
That counts because The Raft is based on a short story. The third skit feels like something Stephen King would have written, but I don't think he did.
I don't know. I don't remember. I thought he had done all 3 of them.
He might have.
I will Google
the hell else did I pick? I picked Maximum Overdrive, Creepshow 2,
and 1408.
And 1408.
1408.
I see stewing.
I'm not, though.
Okay.
I'm not.
It depends.
1408 is not what I'm stewing about, trust me.
It depends on which ending you got. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I've noticed something about Stephen King's work as a whole.
Okay.
You have 2 buckets of Stephen King.
Yes.
You have what we'll call the masterpieces. The Shining, It, Pet Sematary, what you, like, his masterpieces. Those are, like, his greatest works. And everything else, I feel like, is just stuff that pays the bill that he's contractually obligated to write about. Mm-hmm. Because these other things, it seems like, all right, let me pick an occupation at random, let me pick a location at random, and let me pick a random monster or enemy, and I'll just write a story about how this person would react to this thing in this place.
I kind of wish you would have read more of it. Like, I feel like if I would have known you have not read more of his books, I would have debated doing this episode.
Okay.
I read a lot of the books that I read like a couple of summers ago because I decided I wanted to have like a summer of Stephen King. Mm-hmm. But I'm the kind of person that has to read it in like publication order.
Okay.
So I got through Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, and then I came up to The Stand, and I was like, this book's 1,700 pages long.
Yeah, some of them long.
And I noticed as the books went on, his writing got a little more... I was like, oh my God, I don't need like an entire 45 pages about the history of the town.
Oh, yeah.
It's very George R. Martin, Game of Thrones. Did you ever read the first Game of Thrones book?
No. Isn't there like, what is it, the Tower? They're all connected somehow?
Well, the Tower is...
But, like, aren't a lot of his works set in one universe?
Well, a lot of his... He goes back to Maine a lot, because that's where he's from.
Yeah.
And there's kind of recurring theme, like religion.
Yeah.
And overzealous religiousness is a big theme. And like, but I feel like because of what his writing style is, his works don't generally translate to movies very well.
Yeah.
Unless if you have like Brian De Palma did Carrie, and Brian De Palma is fuck awesome.
Yeah.
You know? But like The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
And I said to Justin, I said, I'm not going to make you watch The Dark Tower, even though McConaughey is in it. Because The Dark Tower was not a very good movie.
Isn't it? Doesn't it connect a lot of different books, though?
I have not gotten that deep into... I've never read The Dark Tower. I've not gotten deep...
Did you watch the movie?
Of course I did.
Does it connect a lot of the other...
Not really.
No?
Not from the movie. But listen, The Dark Tower is a book and a series that... Literally, I think the original Dark Tower book, like The Stand, is over 1,000 pages long. And they tried to condense that into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It just didn't work.
Doesn't work.
Although McConaughey was amazing.
All right.
As was Idris Elba.
I have to get this off my chest. Can we talk about The Mist?
I'm a little upset that you're stewing about The Mist.
I'm stewing about The Mist.
Really?
Yep.
Now, wait a minute. Are you stewing about the last, 10 minutes of The Mist?
So The Mist is about, ready? Artist, supermarket, Lovecraft monsters.
Yes.
Okay? That's your occupation, location,
It's also
monster.
a mini Walking Dead pre...
Yeah. Yeah. Now, as the movie started, I swore that I've seen it before, but I don't think I have. I might have confused it with The Fog, and I might have confused it with, I think there was a sci-fi show on The Mist.
There was a TV show about
I think
The
I
Mist.
watched the first 2 episodes,
Yeah.
but then I forgot. I might go revisit it. So he's in the supermarket, New England, Maine, whatever.
Well, there was a storm. Before he goes to the supermarket, there was a huge-ass storm, knocked over trees, things, this, that, and the other thing.
He goes to the supermarket, and then the mist rolls in, and then there's Lovecraftian monsters within the mist.
Yes.
Now, the monsters themselves, they look hit or miss. The CGI isn't that great.
Okay.
However, that's what they had at the time. I can forgive that. Right? There's this crazy, the
religious lady.
Yeah. What did you think of the religious lady?
One of the most satisfying scenes of the movie for me is when they kill her.
Yes, I agree.
100%.
You are made to hate her. There's no empathy for her.
Because the whole theme of this movie is when you are in a life or death situation, do you run yourself through fear or do you run yourself through hope? Do you run yourself through this is what it's going to be. I'm going to die eventually, so I might as well just, take what I can get until then. Or are you no, I'm going to try X, Y, Z to get out of this and save myself. Mm-hmm. That's the whole theme of the movie.
And I'm just looking at my notes. I was surprised at the cast that they had.
Why?
The cashier, she was the main character from Man in the High Castle.
I haven't seen that, so I didn't know that.
It's a good show. It's on Amazon. They had Carol from The Walking Dead.
They had Carol from The Walking Dead. They had Herschel from The Walking Dead.
Herschel was in it.
Not Herschel. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong person. The other guy, the older guy. Not Herschel. Ugh, he was in the first season. Not Daryl. God, what the hell was his name?
I don't know. I believe you. So, okay. The other person...
He gets eaten up by the zombies. He was the guy that owned the RV.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Why can't I not remember his name?
I know who you're talking about. And then the main woman that was in the movie that leaves with him, she's the female attorney in Better Call Saul. And
she's also Andrea from The Walking Dead.
Is she?
Yeah, there's 3 people from The Walking Dead in this movie.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that you say that, the people that were in The Walking Dead, those were the best actors and actresses in the movie.
Yes.
Probably because they're just playing the same role in a different setting with a different threat.
Yes. Okay.
So I enjoyed the premise. I enjoyed the monsters. And I was watching it, and if you're being attacked by something, I'm pretty sure the supermarket's the best place to be.
Okay.
Because you can probably, hold up for a few days in that supermarket.
Right. But in this case, though, because I kind of feel like I see where you're going with this. You're kind of like, why would they leave?
No.
Oh.
I understand why they would leave, because...
You had Psycho.
Yeah. People went nuts, and you know that, like, all right, these people are going insane. You could see factions start to break off within the supermarket.
Yes.
And the main character, his son, he has a son, and a few people are like, let's just get out of here, and they hightail it. And they... Hold on. I'm all over the place with this. There's army guys in the supermarket. There's army kids in the supermarket. They do absolutely nothing.
Yes. But they got called out on it.
You're being attacked by monsters. You have army guys.
Okay, but they didn't have anything with them. They didn't have, like, army guns or, like, a tank or anything.
Yeah, but they should be prepared. Or, like, there's a gap in leadership. That's specifically what they're trained to do.
What did you expect them to do?
Step up and do something.
Like what, though? They didn't have anything with them.
Anything. They say, stack up the dog food. First of all, why does the supermarket have that much dog food?
It's a supermarket. It's a supermarket. Maybe they just got a delivery in.
Yeah. So they all leave.
Why does a supermarket have that much dog food?
Right? I just thought it was funny. Like, the monsters break the glass, and the evil bird monsters are in there. The factions start to break off. They go, we got to get out of here. They get in the truck or the van, whatever it is. It's like a Ford Bronco. And they start driving through the mist.
Hashtag OJ.
Yeah. They start driving through the mist.
Now, before you get to the ending of this movie...
Can I just show you my notes real quick?
But wait, I just want it to be said that... Because I did a little research as well.
Do you know who directed this movie?
Stephen King has said that anybody who spoils the last 10 minutes of this movie, he said that they should, like, be shot or something.
Yeah, fuck that. Do you know who directed this movie?
No, who directed it?
The same guy that directed Shawshank Redemption.
Really?
Yes.
Intriguing.
Yes.
But Shawshank Redemption and this is two completely different movies.
It's the same guy.
1,000%.
It's the same person.
Okay.
And you would assume that the decisions that person would make would be good decisions.
But it's a completely different movie. You can't.
I'm not doing compare and contrast.
I mean...
I'm just saying, if you are in that type of position where this is what you've done, you should be expected to make a good decision.
I don't know about that.
All right. Walk me through the end of the movie.
Ugh.
They're in the van. What happens?
So fucking sad. So they're in the van and they're trying to... Their plan is they're going to drive and hopefully drive out of the mist. Mm-hmm. They go to the main...
this giant walking monster. Do you remember that? The giant walking monster with tentacles coming out of it. It's like 8 stories tall.
Yeah. And
that was so fucking cool. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Keep going. What happens?
So the first thing they do is they stop at the main character's house in hopes that, like, his wife is still alive, aka she's not.
She's not.
They find her, like, hung up, like, almost spiderweb style, which is what these monsters did to their victims. So they keep driving, and then they run out of gas. So they run out of gas. They realize that it's, like, hopeless. Mm-hmm. And they're eventually going to get eaten by these monsters. These monsters are going to come find them. They have a gun.
How many bullets do they have?
The main
How
character...
many bullets are in this gun and how many of them are there?
There's 5 people in the van. There's the main character, his son, 2 of the Walking Dead people, and this random old lady.
Yep.
The gun has 4 bullets. So somebody has to kill everybody else and stay alive. Mm-hmm. So the main character is like, okay, I'll do it. And right as his son wakes up, you see just the outside of the van and you just hear boom, 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 boom. He kills all 4 people in the van, flips out, is like just shooting the gun at himself, hoping that another bullet magically appears. Then all of a sudden...
the mist magically disappears. There's a fucking tank, dudes with flamethrowers, and another truck filled with refugees.
Which has Carol in it. Who left in the beginning of the movie.
And they're just right there. They're just right there.
I found it so sad, though, that they went through
2 fucking hours. This movie is 2 hours, and that's how you end the movie?
Really? I'm so surprised.
2 hours. Oh. You're in the car.
He just threw the notebook on the floor. Justin just threw the notebook on the floor.
You're in the car the entire time.
Not the entire time.
No, bullshit. The entire time that you're in the car, 4 adults, no one stopped and goes, hey, what are we going to do when we run out of gas? That thought didn't occur to anybody, right? So you see all these cars with corpses inside. No one goes, hey, maybe we should.
They were afraid to stop.
Maybe we should switch cars real quick.
They were afraid to stop. They didn't know where these things were.
But what's the difference? Well, look what happened anyway.
Okay, but when you're in that moment, you don't you would if it was you and Stephanie, you would just stop and be like, "Oh, hey Steph, we're gonna switch cars, okay? Let me see how much gas this car has. Let's move the dead bodies out of it."
But you don't have a choice. Your only other option is to us flip a coin, and whoever wins shoots the loser.
It's a matter of trying to get as far as you can, as quick as you can.
You didn't notice, they didn't notice, tanks. They didn't hear tanks. They didn't feel like the ground vibrating when a tank comes. This ending is not the original ending.
Oh, really? I haven't read the short story, so I don't know.
I was so mad I looked this up. This ending...
This is not the movie that I thought that he was going to flip out on me about, P.S.
I'm mad because I enjoyed it up till the end. I really thought this was a good movie up until the end. This ending was added in last minute by the guy that directed Shawshank Redemption.
But Stephen King was okay with it.
He don't give a fuck. People were murdering...
But he's a guy that hates it when people take liberties with his work.
What is he going to do, say no?
He has trashed. But he's trashed the original Shining. Which, in my opinion...
Do you know what the original ending was?
Of what? The Shining?
Of The Mist.
No.
Okay. So you know, obviously, how the movie ends.
Yes.
In the book, because I didn't read the book, but I looked it up because I was so angry. The book ends. They find a radio somewhere, and they're going to sleep, and he's trying to contact someone on the radio, and they hear Haven, static, Hartford, and then it ends.
Haven. Okay, so I don't know about Hartford, but Haven was a TV show based off of the Stephen King short story, The Colorado Kid.
The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Well, I don't know, it's just a connection because I watched all of Haven. Haven was a really good show. You would borderline like Haven.
If that's how they ended the movie, that would have been so much better because it would have left it open for a sequel or a third movie, make it a trilogy, and I would have been like, oh, I would have looked forward to watching Mist number 2.
See, but I liked the ending.
2 fucking hours, and we're gonna run out of gas. What are we gonna do? Should we try to walk? No, I guess I'll just shoot you guys.
Would you try to walk in that situation? Anybody that left the store in the mist didn't even get 5 feet, except for that's one thing that bothered me.
Well, yeah, it's just stupid movie nonsense.
Carol was still alive. I call her
Carol, but yeah.
Because I could have sworn that they listened to her die in the beginning of the movie.
Didn't she leave with a few people? Or did she run out on her own?
No, I think she just ran out on her own. And I could have sworn that they listened to her die. I'm very surprised.
I am so pissed off.
Wow. I totally misread this entire episode because I did not think that...
Just because I enjoyed the movie
that you were gonna,
up until the ending.
Get up in my shit about Firestarter, to be honest.
Just look at my notes. As from beginning to end of the movie, towards the end,
it literally says 2 fucking hours.
It's just the frantic scribbles.
Where did the mist go?
Of an angry
Nobody
lunatic.
thought of running out of gas. Wait, what is the words at the top? Overall acting average.
Yeah, it was some of
Army guys suck.
The Army guys suck.
Bland. Does that say bland or bland?
Yeah, there's parts that were bland.
Okay.
Mist. A generous 5 out of 12.
Really?
That fucking ending, man. If there was a DVD that existed that had an alternate ending where they don't, he just doesn't kill them because, we're just running out of gas, I'll just kill you guys.
See, I would give it a solid 7.
I would give it higher if he didn't kill him at the end. If it wasn't if it was like an hour and 20 minutes and that's how it ended, I'd be like, oh, okay, fine. 2 hours.
Okay. All right.
2 hours.
Okay. All right.
Fucking A.
Okay. All right. Wow. I'm very surprised.
I did not
think that this was going to be the movie that you were going to fight me on. Honestly.
It's just when you watch something that you like,
And then the
and it
ending
goes
is
to shit.
disappointing. Okay. See, I personally like. I don't know. I liked the ending. Like I said, it was that whole hope and fear thing. Like they felt like there was no other way out. How were they supposed to know that 10 minutes
But then
later?
you try.
They did try. They were stuck in the supermarket, and then they decided to leave and go,
and then you just piss all of that away. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Whatever.
I probably would have shot everyone else and kept
I wouldn't
my
let
kid.
you shoot me.
I would have kept my kid. If I had a certain number of bullets, I do not have children, but I have nieces and nephews. If it was if it was me and you and Kevin in a car, you'd be dead. Fuck you. 2.5 seconds. I don't give a shit. I'd be like, let's go, Kev. Close your eyes.
Nice to know.
If you had to choose between me and Stephanie, who would you choose? His wife just yelled from the other room, make the right choice.
All right. What movie? What do you want to talk about next?
All right. Well, let's do one of yours.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh my God! I just poured straight tequila in this cup, and it was not a smart decision.
Maximum Overdrive, Creepshow 2, or 1408?
No, 1408 is last. Let's do Creepshow 2.
Creepshow 2?
So I was a little upset at first when Justin chose Creepshow 2, because I wanted to put that on my list.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching Creepshow 2 when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I specifically remembered was the raft skit.
That's the best one.
I was like, when the first, so the raft, there's these, it's a group of kids, not kids, teenager, young adult.
It's hardcore 1980s.
So 80s.
Super
That's what
cool
I loved
dudes.
about it. Oh my God. Ugh. Like, I don't even know if I could find something to like compare it to, but it was so fucking 80s, which is amazing. I love the 80s. That's why I like it so much. So there's two guys, two girls, obviously couples. They go drive to like this remote lake, and they want to like jump in the water and swim out to this random raft.
This raft is the coolest thing to them for some reason.
Apparently, like it's a big deal if you swim out to this raft.
Yeah.
So they go swim out to the raft. The water is
It's not even that far, by the way.
It's not that far. It's not that far.
Yeah.
I go to the lake every summer, upstate in Lake Sagandaga. It is not that far. Like, I could have swam to that thing and back.
Yeah, it's...
Like, being overweight and having asthma in 2.5 seconds. They get to this raft, and as they're on the raft, some of them decide, like, we're going to smoke a joint. Some of them decide we're going to have sex. And this one guy just sees this weird, goopy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And it's just like this big pile. It's like a big pile of crap.
Yeah, it's like
It's like a garbage oil spill.
It's like, imagine
Where's my phone? Grab me my
the
phone.
Toxic Avenger meets Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
But just dead and floating.
Like, if you wouldn't
Like toxic
think
waste.
anything of it.
Yeah.
You know, you would just be like, oh, don't swim in that part.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's going to be gross. But one girl, she jumped in the... No, I think she, like, leaned over and it grabbed her.
I think she leaned over.
And it grabbed her. She leaned over to, like, see what it was.
Yeah.
And it grabbed her, pulled her in. And I remember being a kid, and I thought that part was the most terrifying thing I had ever seen.
Yeah.
I did not want... Now, my grandparents...
Mm-hmm.
When I was 7 or 8 years old, moved to North Carolina on a lake. And the first summer we went there, we went...
You lived in North Carolina?
No, my grandparents.
Okay.
We would go visit.
Yeah, okay.
The first summer we went there, we went swimming in the lake in their backyard. And I remember I stepped in, and it was so mushy.
And that's what you thought
and
of?
gross. And that's
what you thought of?
I did not
You
go
hauled
swimming.
ass out of there, didn't you?
I did. Like, my parents tried to give me, like, I remember I wore a pair of my grandfather's big-ass sneakers, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going in here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My grandfather put down garbage bags and had the whole thing sanded, so it felt like a beach. Because that first summer, I was like, fuck you. I am not swimming in this. I will die. 8 years old.
I remember I was little. Every time I went to Jones Beach when I was little... You know when like something random touches your foot or your leg in the water? That's what I thought of.
See, this is...
Or like, if I was on a raft, I would make sure that my feet or my toes
We're on the raft.
We're on
and
the
not
wood
half
plank.
in the water.
And not over the gap between
Yes.
planks.
Yes. Listen, I'm very cheesy in regards that I like movies that have like crazy animals in them.
What do you mean?
already know that like Jaws is my favorite movie.
Oh yeah.
I love like the cheesy ass sci-fi shark movies like Mega Shark versus like Mecha Dinosaur and 1500 Shark Attack. Justin's pouring more whiskey. He's had one glass of whiskey. I've had like 3 glasses of tequila.
That's my third.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
All right, I don't feel as bad now.
Sure. I gotta be careful because we had that ice cream.
We did. We had ice cream before this. It was good ice cream though. Anyway. So going in the water, while I enjoy it, I'm like a lake. I don't like the ocean. Always kind of freaked me out. Always. I was always afraid that like I was going to get attacked by a killer shark or like an alligator was going to come and like rip me off. In the ocean? No, in the lake.
Oh.
I don't like the ocean.
Okay.
So this movie just accentuated that point.
Explains a lot.
It just accentuated it. By far the best of the skits. There's what, 3 skits?
There's 3. The first one is with the
Indian.
The wooden Indian comes to
Which I
life.
didn't hate. I didn't really hate any of the skits.
Yeah, it was the Indian one was mediocre. The third one, it's the yuppie hits a guy while she's driving home.
Yeah.
And the yuppie and the guy that she killed haunts her on the way home. That was okay. The other 2 were okay. They weren't memorable. They weren't terrible to the point where they ruined the movie. What?
One of my notes.
Yeah.
About the first skit. So in the first skit...
The first skit goes very quick, though.
It does. And it's this old man and his wife. They own, like, this, like, general store in this kind of semi-abandoned town.
Yeah, it's like you could tell all the money's gone.
Right. But the people that, like, I guess run the town owe him money or owe him something.
No, that's not it.
No?
He's either on an Indian reservation or there's an Indian reservation near him. And the reservation has a credit line built up. Mm-hmm. And the reservation owes him money.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it is.
So the head of the reservation comes and like gives him these jewels as a way of like the payment. When he leaves, the old man and the old lady go back into their store and there's people trying to steal from the store. One of the guys trying to steal from the store is this leader's uncle, nephew, I think it was, something like that. He has this long, black, hideous ass wig. He's determined that like this hair is going to bring him out to Hollywood and he's going to become famous. They start ransacking the store, end up killing the woman, killing the guy, and at one point I go, wait, where is it? I go, Tonto gonna get you for betraying your people, bruh. Because outside of the store there's this giant ass Indian statue that this old man is like takes care of. Like he's repainting his face. And you could tell, like I could tell when this was like an actual person and not the actual statue.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, this guy gonna come kill you, guy.
But you know what? When it was an actual person, whatever effect or makeup or costume they put on him to make him still look wooden was really good. Yeah. Especially for when this movie came out.
Yes. Was that who Tom Savini was? Tom Savini plays somebody in this movie.
I have no idea.
I think that was who Tom Savini... I'm going to look it up right now.
Okay, look it up right now.
Because Tom Savini is credited... And if you don't know who Tom Savini is, I don't really know what to do with you.
See, it's tough because which would you say is better?
The Creep.
Creepshow 1 or Creepshow 2?
I have not seen Creepshow 1 in a very long time. Like I said, I watched these movies when I was kids, but I remembered being more scared of Creepshow 2. Was Creepshow 1... Which one had the one...
Creepshow 1, it's, there's like an ape or like some type of animal monster in a crate in a museum that gets loose.
Which have...
Then there's... Hold on. I'll tell you.
I'm sorry.
The second one is... it's essentially The Color of Outer Space. Mm-mm. Where a meteor crashes and this weird plant thing grows.
Yes. That, and Stephen King was the guy that got eaten by the plant.
Yeah.
That freaked me out too.
And then the third story in the first one is the best of the first movie. We could fight this another day. But
I would have to rewatch the first movie.
Fair.
Like I said, I haven't seen it
But
since
the
I
first-
was under 10.
The third skit, I call him the skit. The
They are
third,
skits, I
yeah,
can see
the third skit in the first movie is the guy that kidnaps people and buries them up to their neck at the beach and waits for high tide to come in.
Ew. I don't remember that.
Oh,
I remember
and then they come back to haunt him. That's the best one of the first movie.
The thing I remember the most is that plant thing.
Yeah.
Like overtaking. I think it was Stephen King.
Yeah.
Like overtaking.
Yeah, he usually does cameos.
Overtaking Stephen King, and like him trying. And I just remember like the plant like engulfing him.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's why I don't like plants either.
That's why you don't like plants.
I enjoy the Creepshow overall though. But like, you know,
I do.
it was nice to revisit it also after not watching it for so long. I like how it goes. I really enjoyed how it went from that like real life to the comic backstory.
Yeah, that was cool. It
Yeah.
kind of broke it up.
I enjoyed that. I'd give it I'd give it a 6.
I gave it a 7, so we're not too far off out of 12.
Yeah.
You know, you can do your own scale. You don't have to do out of 12.
No, it doesn't make sense if I do a scale out of 10 and you do one out of 12. It has to be cohesive,
Whatever.
Justin.
So
I don't know why you decided to do it out of 12.
Because I like to be difficult.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Well,
that
any
you chose
scale
12.
out of whatever, if I want to do it out of 1,000,
No,
and I said this
no.
is a 630 out of 1,000.
No.
Whatever. All right. 7 out of 12. Here's why. The third segment where the woman hits the guy, I felt was kind of weak.
Not terrible, though.
Again, not terrible.
Yeah.
The first segment with the Indian was okay, I guess. The raft, I would say, is a 12 out of 12. I love that fucking raft thing.
I don't know if I'd give it a 12, but it's definitely the
It's-
strongest of the 3.
Let's say 11. You know it's up there. What do you, 10?
I'd give it maybe a 9.
All right, 9.
I don't know if I should say it.
Go ahead, say it.
Listen, that one dickhead guy was kind of hot for the 80s. I'm not gonna lie.
That's on you.
The guy that had like the Speedo on. Not the dorky
Yeah,
guy.
seriously. I even
was
wrote down, why was everybody
That
such
could
a
have been
douchebag
that
in the
could have been
80s?
Matthew McConaughey.
Why
if
was
this
everybody
made in, like,
such
the
a
2000s.
douchebag in the 80s?
Because you always had that guy. No matter what kind of 80s movie you watch, you always had that like asshole jock kind of guy. Always.
And I'll be honest, whenever I talk to someone that's older than us, that like their peak was in the
One of your
80s.
dogs is crying outside the door. I feel so bad.
Aw. And they peaked in the 80s, and they have all these like stories of all the fun that they had in the 80s. I automatically attribute them as this type of a person.
Yeah, the A-list. Oh, I'm talking like I'm so old that I was like an adult in the 80s. I was
You
not.
weren't.
But you know, the 80s had its fair share of douchebags. It was the cocaine era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, AKA Patrick Bateman, American Psycho.
So yeah, 7 out of 12.
So in a mood to watch American Psycho.
You know there was a sequel to that too, right?
I did, but the sequel was fucking crap.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
Don't even talk about the sequel in my presence.
Disappointing. Did you read the book, American Psycho?
I did.
Do you have it? Could I borrow it?
Ooh. You text me and remind me.
All right.
I don't remember if I still have it. I might have donated it.
Okay. What do you want to go into next?
Firestarter. Because now I'm intrigued to know which of my movies you liked the best. Because I really thought that your order was going to go The Mist as the best, Children of the Corn, Firestarter.
Oh wow, you're way off.
Really?
Yeah, you're way off.
Wow.
I liked Firestarter the best.
No shit.
Yep.
That. Oh, okay. All right.
Firestarter gave me some definite Stranger Things vibe.
Well, yeah. I would be very interested to know if the people who wrote Stranger Things have
Plagiarized?
read Firestarter.
Plagiarized Firestarter.
Yeah. It's very, very similar. Freakishly similar. A lot of it's kind of like, okay, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Stranger Things basically combined Charlie, which is Drew Barrymore's character, and Andy, which is her dad, and put it into 11.
Yeah.
100%.
After watching Firestarter, that's when I started to kind of connect the dots between all of his works. Because let's say this organization in Firestarter was also investigating people that had The Shining.
There was,
You know what I mean?
if I remember
And
correctly, there is
let's
another.
say, for argument's sake, the organization could have also been responsible for releasing The Mist.
There is a connection.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Not with The Mist, but I believe that
I got super stoked.
there is a connection between Firestarter and Doctor Sleep
But
that I read about online.
Isn't Doctor Sleep just a sequel to The Shining?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was some sort of connection that I read about online between the two. Like, apparently, I don't know if Danny went to, like, this place that was supposed to, what was it called? The Factory?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That sounds right.
I don't have it now because I cleared it out and put up Kanye West instead. So, okay. I read The Shining when I was an early teenager.
Okay.
I don't remember much about the book,
Mm-hmm.
but one thing that I remember about the book that did not translate well to the movie and always bothered me
Okay.
was the scene with the mother.
Which scene?
The when she gets killed and when the dad finds her.
Okay.
So the dad and the mom meet at this factory, whatever it's called, and they're basically being given drugs to try to see who has some kind of like.
We're talking about Firestarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you said you read The Shining.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Tequila. That's all I can say. That's really all I can say right now is tequila. Firestarter. The mom and the dad meet at this retreat, which is...
Yeah. They're doing, like,
right.
government testing. You come in, you swallow this pill, we'll give you $100.
Yes. They get married, they have a kid. The kid turns out to have whatever these paranormal, psychotic things are, too.
The kid is Drew Barrymore, who was an ugly kid. I'm going to go out there and say she was an ugly kid.
Oh, leave Drew Barrymore alone. You know what's funny though? There's pictures of her from the premiere of this movie.
Yeah.
Smoking cigarettes and handing people cigarettes at 9 years old. And that's how, like, she obviously, everybody that knows Drew Barrymore, she went on to have a really, really bad drug problem.
Yeah.
That started when she was a child. Anyway, so in the book, they detail how, like, these government men looking for the daughter broke into the house and, like, pulled out the mom's fingernails to torture her to find out where the kid was. But yet in the movie, all you see is the dad coming home, realizing something's wrong, like looking around the house, and he finds the mom gagged, stuffed in a closet.
Yeah.
And he looks at her hands and he's like, oh, what did they do to you? But in the book...
It seemed very frantic.
It's creepy.
Okay.
Like, he literally describes how, like, you look at her fingers and you can tell that they pulled out her fingernails one by one.
Yeah.
And then it goes into, like... I was not a fan of, like, the kind of weird pacing in the beginning of the movie. Like, so, like, the dad's at the house, he makes a random phone call, do you know where my daughter is? Then you're all of a sudden cut to this other house where these government men are chloroforming Drew Barrymore to, like, kidnap her. And then the dad shows up, and it's just kind of like, the beginning of the movie was a little all over the place to me.
Okay.
But I really, really, really love the ending. I thought you would get me on the middle of this movie.
The middle, there's a part of the movie where the science people are experimenting on her. That seems to take an hour. That could have been cut to a 10-minute clip.
The middle of the movie is very slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's things that happen, though. They have some operative agent that's pretending to be like a maid.
Yeah, he's freaking creepy.
The guy with one eye or whatever.
Yeah. In Vietnam.
Yeah. And he's building rapport with her to, like, kidnap her or whatever. That was cool. The experiments, like, I got it. Mm-hmm. After the second time, I got it. I don't need to see this 5 more times. Yeah. I understand what's going on. I felt like they beat that.
I also thought how it was interesting how Drew Barrymore's thing was so different from her dad's. So, like, her dad had the power of, like, mind control. But what also kind of annoyed me in this movie is you very obviously could tell when he was trying to exhibit his mind control on you. He would throw his hands in his hands in his hair.
He did, like, the migraine pose.
Yeah.
I'm about to do it as people can see me. But
like, you know what was about to come, but nobody apparently ever picked up on it, I guess.
That might have been just like a thing they had to do for the movie.
Yeah. I don't
So that
remember. See, that's the problem too. I don't
the
remember
viewer,
the book enough.
we the viewer knew what was going on. Like if he just nonchalantly looked at somebody and they went nuts,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have the same impact.
Okay. I also really, really like the end of this movie when she like flips out in the barn and like burns all the shit down. I really, and that was another thing that I remember from being a kid was that image of her walking out of this barn that's on fire with like her hair all blowing and like the fire behind her.
I noticed also in the movie, you speak of like her hair with the fire behind her.
Yes.
There's a line specifically that compares. I forget who it is, but someone's hair is like copper on fire. Something like that.
Intriguing.
If you watch it, or if you read it, there's the poem
postcard that he writes
the poem.
What is it, like Ember something or other?
Yes.
Yeah.
I jotted that down because I thought it was a funny little callback or call forward.
Intriguing.
Because I don't know which came first. And again, it's like...
I think Firestarter, the book, came before it. I'm going to look it up right now.
It's okay.
I'm going to look it up. The movie definitely came before.
Yeah. The soundtrack I thought was really cool.
Yes.
I also enjoyed the ending. I thought it could have been a little shorter because it was kind of a long movie.
It was. I was surprised. I didn't remember it being that long.
And I enjoy how it's essentially Stranger Things. This girl unexpectedly has these special powers.
Firestarter was published before it.
This girl has these special powers. There's a mysterious government entity that needs to examine her. This dude is stuck in the middle. It leaves a lot of open questions of, what other works could fit into this. I really enjoyed the movie.
See, I really thought, I did not think you were going to like it.
Legit, Firestarter, 8 out of 12.
When I rewatched it, I was like, he is going to go crazy on me about this.
I thought, it could have been trimmed down a few, like 20 minutes from the middle when they're doing the experiments. That could have been shortened. The special effects, they could have made smarter decisions, like those.
All right, but it was the 80s.
These fireballs. These fireballs. I wrote down, I'm like, what's with these fireballs? Like, if you could set things on fire, wouldn't you just set things ablaze and not send, like... I felt like I was watching, like...
All right,
do you ever play, like, Final Fantasy? And you have the special meteor ability? That's what it was.
Oh, my God.
But I thought it was a good movie. I think it deserves a remake.
They are doing a remake. It's in the works. I don't know if it has started filming yet, but I believe it has already been, like, signed off on to happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie.
All right.
And we're back.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive. So when we said, hold on, when we said we were doing Stephen King movies, you did not say specifically they had to be a serious horror movie.
No, we didn't. Hence Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive. Ready for the Stephen King formula? Some random guy, truck stop, alien trucks controlled by aliens.
It's not just trucks, though.
Trucks, cars, lawnmowers.
It's supposed to
the
be
electric
anything
knife.
electrical, which is...
It's a far-reaching premise, I know. Do you know what year this came out in?
Amelia was in it. I think it was 87. I'm going to look it up, but I think it was 87. First of all...
I remember seeing this when I was 5 or 6, and I was terrified.
Really? 1986.
I was terrified to walk in front of a lawnmower.
Wow.
Because I thought it would turn on and come get me.
Okay, so throughout the entire movie, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I kept in my head going, and I was like, Emilio! I don't know why. If you have seen A Night at the Roxbury movie, you understand. Mm-hmm. That's all I kept thinking. I liked this movie in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it jumps the shark, and I'm like, this. First of all,
how does it jump the shark?
It is a good...
Because of the aliens?
It's a good 35 minutes too long.
How long is the movie?
I kept pausing it, and I'm like, how is there still this much time left in this movie? I don't understand.
Fair.
Like, it should have been one of those, like, hour 15-minute movies.
Sounds about right.
It was way too long.
You want to talk about how your favorite part is when the...
How do you know what my favorite part is?
It's everybody's favorite part.
Oh, okay.
You have three choices. Is when Stephen King makes the cameo at the beginning and the ATM tells him that he's an asshole.
I did enjoy those
Yeah, it was
parts.
funny.
I did. And I enjoyed how the one sign said, fuck you.
Yeah. Your other choice is the soda machine that kills the softball coach.
I did make
at the
a note.
beginning.
I did make a note about the spitting Coke can scene.
Yeah.
I did. Yes.
Or your other choice is when this like little army platform jeep with a mounted machine gun shows up.
God. No.
And demands that they pump gas.
That was the point in time where I was like, this movie has jumped the shark. I was like, this movie has now
They
gone.
make them pump gas for
It
the
was
other.
so fucking stupid. Where you in The Mist was like, what do they do when they run out of gas? Me in Maximum Overdrive was like, well, eventually there's not going to be any more gas to pump. And where the fuck are all these trucks coming from?
Yeah, but The Mist presented itself as a serious movie. Maximum Overdrive was about trucks and lawnmowers that come to life.
At one point... Oh, wait a minute. Hang on.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
No. I wrote in my notes that the movie jumped the shark. So there's this girl,
Yeah.
and her and Emilio Estevez hook up.
Yeah.
So,
It's randomly.
randomly. After Emilio Estevez apparently decides that he's like the hero. I'm like, what the fuck did you do to become a hero?
Well, no, she calls him hero.
Yeah. So Emilio Estevez and this woman like have sex. After they have sex, they're just eating cupcakes. And I'm like, where did we get cupcakes from? Where have cupcakes come from? I don't you're
They're
trapped in a
shop.
diner.
They're in a truck shop.
You're trapped in a diner. You can't leave.
Yeah.
There's
What
there's
if they
evil trucks everywhere.
Who's
but you're
to say
just
they-
like, hey, let's like hook up and eat cupcakes. It's okay.
How do you know they didn't have cupcakes in the freezer?
That was my other problem with this movie is these people in this truck stop. They're just sitting around like nothing's wrong.
What else would you do?
I don't know. Try to come up with a way to like kill the killer trucks. I wouldn't just sit there and like play fucking canasta or whatever they were playing.
Nasta.
I don't know. Oh God, I can't. Also, okay, one of the parts that I enjoyed for the comedical effect that you didn't bring up was when the waitress runs out.
We made
you.
Yeah.
We made you, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this
Whole entire movie is so over the top of like what a horror movie would be.
It's like,
Go ahead.
what was that horror movie with George Clooney from the 80s? Was it
horror
Return
movie?
to Horror High?
I don't know.
I think it was Return to Horror High. And it was just like, you watched it and you were like, this is a train wreck, but I can't stop.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And then like, there's this random kid.
Yeah, the kid that got chased by
Throughout the whole movie. Just crawling through the sewers. Oh, here's the kid again, popping out of the sewer. Oh, I'm not anywhere important. Let me crawl back in. And then all of a sudden he comes out. He's like, hey guys, what's up? I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. This was by far.
But the trucks are alive and they try to kill people.
They were so stupid. They were fucking dumb.
That's the entire movie.
I liked that when like the trucks would come, there would be like this musical montage, or like the music that came. And for some reason, I remember the truck with like the green goblin face being much creepier, and it really wasn't. That's the other thing. The movie just ends. Like it just ends. Like okay.
Because the comet passes.
Oh my God.
There's a comet that's passing. That's
and in the
being
beginning
controlled
of
by
the movie, they tell you that the comet passes in what, like 6 days. This movie did not take place over 6 days.
How do you know?
It didn't. No. And if someone's going to try to convince me of that, they need to go back to frickin' film editing school. This movie did not pass over 6 days. It passed over 1, maybe 2.
Maybe 3 or 4.
No. There was the night that he had sex with the girl. And then the next night is with the night that they left and tried to run to the dock to get on the boat. Why wasn't the boat evil?
It was a sailboat, Teresa.
Why didn't everything else in the diner shop, in the truck stop, go cray-cray?
It
The
did.
electric knife did, but then it
was
just
so
all
funny.
stopped.
That was so funny.
But then everything just stopped. And it was just the trucks outside.
But remember, they said different appliances or whatever change at different points in time.
And then, like, they throw in this random airplane sequence.
An airplane sequence?
Don't you remember the airplane? Literally, it had dun 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 dun. It had that music. You don't remember the
No.
airplane? Hang on, because I'm pretty sure that I wrote notes on it.
I would classify this as like a comedy horror. I thought it was a fun movie. Is it a serious horror film? No, but it was a fun watch. You know damn well you had fun watching this movie.
I honestly didn't.
Yes, you did.
I had fun watching it maybe the first hour. And then I was like, I'm over it. I'm over it.
The movie's what, an hour and a half?
No, the movie's like an hour and 45 minutes.
No.
Yes. Yes. It's way too long.
You didn't like the random bazooka, so the guy that owns the truck
It's an
stop.
hour and 38 minutes.
Yeah, so the
That's
guy
too long.
The guy that owns by what, 8 minutes?
No, by like
I'm making a
30.
face. The guy that owns a truck stop has random bazookas that they.
That was the other thing. Not just bazookas, but rocket launchers.
Yeah.
The guy has a fucking rocket launcher. I'm sorry.
Listen, Steve, you give Stephen King a little bit of cocaine.
And then there's one scene where Emilio Estevez and this other guy go underground to try to find a way out.
Yeah.
And this guy starts to, I wonder how many people peed in here. I'm like, that's what you're thinking about right now? Like, you're fighting for your life and you're thinking about how many people peed in this fucking abyss that you're in.
I don't see any issue with that.
Oh, that's not what I would be thinking about at all. I'd be like, get me away. I even said at one point, I was like, and here's the kid again. He's like, I literally said he's like herpes.
He's like herpes.
He just doesn't. Oh! Here's the other thing that really bothered me. So this woman and Emilio Estevez are having sex. Okay?
You didn't like the posters?
Or they finish having sex. The posters!
It was the 80s.
No self-respecting woman is going to have sex in a room filled with posters of naked pornographic women. I'm sorry?
It was the 80s too.
Not
so
even
so
like
bad.
naked women.
It was
naked
so bad.
pornographic women.
Hairy.
All over the walls.
Hairy.
All over the walls. I'm like, I don't
It was a truck
understand.
stop, Teresa.
Please, it was a truck stop. They're like, feminism. That's what I say. Feminism.
Every episode.
No.
Yeah, every episode.
I say feminism every episode.
Every episode.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Yep. I never considered myself much of a feminist.
Me neither.
I am.
Put a microphone in front of you, the whole thing changes. Honestly, I thought it was a fun movie. Can't take it too serious. It's a fun movie.
I tried really hard not to take it seriously because I remembered that it wasn't like a serious movie. Like I knew, but oh my God, 5 out of 12.
Really?
5.
Agree to disagree.
You gave this was by far worse than The Mist.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
By far.
Maximum Overdrive, 8 out of 12.
Fuck you!
You say that every episode.
8 out of 12?
It was a fun movie. You know you couldn't take it too serious. When the soda machine...
Listen to me. Sharknado is a fun movie. I wouldn't rate it an 8 out of 12.
If you enjoy it, you can rate it whatever you want. Listen, when you see a soda machine kill a guy with a can of Coke and an electric alarm clock strangle a girl, you kind of get an idea of what you're getting yourself into. Mm-mm. I think a movie like this, there's no middle ground. It's either you love it or you hate it. It's okay that you hate it, but if you accept that it is what it is for what it is, it's a good movie.
But I understood what it was, and I just still was just like, 5 out of 12.
Whatever.
Fucking 8 out of... I can't believe that you rated Maximum Overdrive higher than The Mist.
Because of The Mist, they fucking he kills everybody for no fucking reason.
You took one little part of a movie and overshadowed the entire thing.
Because it totally took a shit on itself.
Oh my God, I can't.
It was a good movie that takes a shit on itself.
I can't.
Insane. That's why I gave it such a low... It was so good up until that point. Why would you fucking end it like that?
Oh God, I'm so angry at you right now. Let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn. I did think that this was going to be your middle of the ground movie. Mm-hmm. And I was rewatching. Now,
it is.
Children of the Corn has spawned like 15,000 sequels and a remake. I have not seen any of them.
I don't understand why. I've seen a few of the sequels.
I understand why there could have been one sequel.
Okay.
Granted, the ending of the movie with the girl.
Yeah.
I get that. How it has spawned, I think there's like 7 sequels. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that. And I have not watched any sequel at all. I thought that you were overall not going to enjoy this movie.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Yes.
How many 6th graders do you think you could beat up at once?
Right now?
Like in general?
Right now.
Yeah, today. You open the door, there's 30 6th graders. Is that too much?
30?
30.
That's too much. I teach children. That's too much.
Okay.
Listen to me. I teach special ed, so I can only have 12 kids at a time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you try dealing with 12
I'm not saying deal. I'm not saying deal with.
No, but when they're angry, my kids get angry. My kids have emotional problems. They get angry. No.
I'm not saying like deal with. I'm saying
it.
Street Fighter, go.
Don't
How many
overestimate
6th graders do you think you could fight at once?
You would be surprised. Those little shits are stealthy.
Okay.
I'd give myself maybe 3. My sister has 8 kids.
Really?
I'd give myself 6th graders maybe 3.
To fight to the death.
If they're all like on the same team.
Because you're expecting that they're kids that you know. They're just random cultish 6th graders.
If they're all on the same team and they all are going in there with a plan, you're fucked. You are fucked. Well, you're Mr. Krav Maga.
I don't know how I'd give myself.
I'd give you maybe 10.
No, I could take on more than 10 6th graders at once.
You'd get 10.
How many do you think could surround you at once?
I have already been surrounded by 6.
6?
It's not fun.
So once you get to like 12, it becomes irrelevant because 13, 14, and to 30 can't get to you because the other ones are in the way.
Okay.
I could probably take 50 6th graders.
50?
50 at once?
50?
Yeah.
50.
50.
Fuck you. No, you could not.
Sure I could.
No, you couldn't.
Sure I could.
Oh my God. I wish I could test this theory.
The entire time watching this movie, I was trying to figure out how many 6th graders I could fight at once.
First of all, these people were taken off guard. Like...
Bullshit. Once you kind of have an idea of what's going on, the element of surprise is gone. Right? You know, like, okay, it's me versus, this many 6th grade kids.
But it was all going on simultaneously. Like, I don't think that there was all these kids in this diner scene and then all the other adults. Like, the other adults were obviously getting killed at home at the same time.
Like, if you're in a hallway or a corridor and it's a narrow passage, you only have to take on, like, 3 or 4 at once.
I can't. I really can't right now. Justin is just gonna... I don't even know.
You're in a cornfield. It's different. You can't see where they're coming from. I give you that.
They weren't in the cornfield, though.
Exactly.
He brought the kids to the cornfield. Malachi. No, Malachi was the redhead. What was the...
I forget.
The main kid. The main kid had Isaac? Maybe?
You know what this movie also reminded me of? Do you remember the episode of South Park where all the kids they accuse their parents of molestation?
Oh, God. No, I don't remember that.
There's an episode of South Park where all the adults are gone. Yeah, I don't know. Positives for Children of the Corn. I gave it. It's not 2 hours.
It was not 2 hours.
It was not 2 hours. That was pretty cool.
Isaac. Isaac was the kid's name. One of my issues with Children of the Corn is they showed their hand when they shouldn't have.
I got annoyed because I jotted down. I was 38 minutes in, and I wasn't sure what the plot was.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Because when you think about it, this couple is lost. They're in their car. They're driving. They think they run a kid over, but the kid was involved with something else. They go to a gas station. The gas station guy doesn't give them directions, so they get lost. And then you're 45 minutes into the movie, and you don't know what specifically am I watching. The beginning's cool because they kill all the adults, but
see, I don't
why
think
and
that
what does that mean?
Should have happened in the beginning. That's what I mean by they showed their hand too early. They do this scene in the coffee shop in the beginning of the movie where they basically not butcher, but they kill all the adults.
And the main cult leader kid pops his head out from outside.
Yes, but I feel like that scene was so powerful that you feel like you're like on a ride for the rest of the movie, and you're not.
And you're not.
You're not. You're kind of like stalled on.
Like
you're stalled on like waiting to go up the roller coaster, and then the ride just dies.
If 20 minutes in I knew why they killed all the adults, or if I knew what was going on, I think this would have been a much better movie.
They never really do explain that.
Yeah.
I will give you that. Children of the Corn was my movie that I immediately picked The Mist. I immediately picked Firestarter. Children of the Corn was my movie that I actually sat and like thought about. This was the one that I debated.
Yeah.
Should it be Pet Sematary?
Oh, you should have picked Pet Sematary.
But I didn't want to pick Pet Sematary because I felt
too
it was
well-known.
too...
Fair
yeah.
enough.
You know, I was trying not to be so commercial.
Okay.
I mean, I don't hate this movie. The kids are creepy. Anytime you put a kid in something, a murderous child, it's fucking creepy.
Kids make very good villains.
They do. And I felt like the children in this movie were very creepy. But I thought that you were going to get me on the whole... It was very difficult sometimes to understand, like, what was supposed to be the bad guy. Because you spend this whole movie thinking, like, these kids are, like, religious, Jesus is coming, and I hear the Lord and all that. But then you have this scene in the gas station, and it just happens out of nowhere where, like, the clouds start rolling in.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what the fuck is that? And then it happens again when they throw Isaac up on the corn cross. Mm-hmm. And then this random thing, like tremors, comes out of the ground. That was a little... But for me, the kids and the creepiness of the kids is what makes the movie. And plus, it's Linda Hamilton, pre-Terminator.
So, our heroes, I guess, the protagonists are lost. They stumble upon these kids that are breaking the rules of the cult, right? By playing with toys.
They stumble upon them.
And listening to music.
They stumble upon them because as they're driving through the town...
They run one over.
One kid is trying to run away, but as he's running through the cornfields, the bad kids catch him and basically like... Which annoyed me a little bit as well, because it's like, if your throat's cut, you're not running anywhere. Let's face facts.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
Don't they take the woman, the girl?
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy has to go and get her.
They
then
catch the woman.
The Tremors monster starts going through the corn rows.
Because they want to have the woman and the man be a sacrifice, and they figure that the man will come and find the woman, but that actually isn't what happened.
And then they set the corn maze thing on fire, and you see their god thing, whatever, die at the end.
I did like how, though, they tried to fill plot holes. Because
what do you mean?
I thought throughout most of the movie, I was like, okay, but these are children. They're going to become adults. What happens when they become adults? And they show you.
Oh, yeah, they explain. When you turn 19, you get the axe.
You're like
you
the sacrifice.
You get the sacrifice.
So I liked that.
That was pretty cool. That was cool.
I liked that they were actually thinking ahead, you know, as far as the movie goes. I didn't mind Linda Hamilton. I didn't mind the guy from 30-something. Whose name escapes me right now. You probably don't even know what 30-something is.
No.
I feel like, I should have been an adult in the 80s.
You're 5 years older than me.
I know, but
that's not that much.
I'm so ahead of my time. Like, I remember so many, like, adult things from the 80s. It's ridiculous.
Okay,
sorry.
Do you know what really disappoints me about this movie?
What?
Or the book or whatever? I legit thought that the main cult kid had some special power. Mm-hmm. And he who walks behind the rose or whatever it is was coming from his head. The tremor monster was part of his magic ability. Like the girl from Firestarter could start fires. He could manipulate people, and he could cause this thing to go through the dirt and all this stuff. And legit, I was going to lose my shit and be like, all right, you won. Tracy, you won this episode because if Firestarter, The Mist, and Children of the Corn were all related, I would be like, hey, you fucking win. You win. You win.
I didn't know it was a competition.
No,
but
no,
okay.
I'm just saying, like, can you imagine if the main cult kid just had a different special power and was also being looked at by the factory or whatever it was
very disappointed
from
how they
Firestarter?
just, like,
I would have gone fucking berserk. That's the best multi-book, multi-movie tie-in that you could ever think of. But no, the movie ends. They light the corn on fire. You see a red, like they just kind of color over the film a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, it was the 80s.
Yeah. And then the movie ends.
I would have given the movie should have ended in a different place than when it actually did.
What do you mean?
So, at the end of the movie, the adults and the two, like, rogue kids walk out of the cornfield. And they're kind of like, well, what do we do now? The adults are like, I guess you guys could come and live with us. And they go to find their car.
Okay.
To me, the movie should have ended when they got out of the cornfield and, like, come live with us. Like, they walk away all as happy. But instead, they go find their car. They try to open their car. And then, like, this crazy-ass girl who is part of the cult, like, comes back up, tries to kill the guy. He knocks her out, and then they leave. To me, that part was dumb. And I feel like they specifically only kept that part in there to set up for a sequel. And I haven't seen the sequel, so I don't know if that's actually what happened.
All the sequels suck.
Well, I could imagine all the sequels suck. I guarantee you the remake sucks too.
There's a Netflix movie. The High Grass. Did you watch that?
No.
The High Grass is very interesting, and I'm curious to how some of the more articulate Stephen King fans or people that are more well-versed in these works would think. Because The High Grass, it's like there's this magic rock thing in a cornfield. And this magic rock thing has the ability to manipulate time and control people. It's a pretty good movie. And I wouldn't be surprised if this movie is an indirect sequel of Children of the Corn. I would, if you enjoyed Children of the Corn, I'd recommend it on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's a Stephen King.
I mean, I don't think that this movie was terrible. Like, I'd give it a solid 6 out of 12.
I gave it a I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was okay.
You know, I think for a scary
kids
movie
were
from
creepy.
the 80s, it wasn't...
Like, I could see this being popular at a drive-in.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You go in, the beginnings, entertaining.
Like, it was one of those movies that I enjoyed, but I didn't feel like I needed to, like, rush out and see the sequels when they came out. You know what when they came out, later on in life, because when they came out, I was probably, like, 6. How old was I? What year did this movie come out in?
I don't know.
Wasn't this what Linda Hamilton did this before the Terminator, right?
I would assume so.
Wasn't the Terminator in 1984? Children of the Corn.
I'm pretty sure this is before 1984.
This was in 1984. So it must have been simultaneous with the Terminator. So I was 4 when this came out. Yeah. So I didn't see any of the sequels. I don't even know today, though, after, like, rewatching it, if I would watch the sequels.
I wouldn't recommend it.
You know? The original wasn't bad, but I'd kind of leave it at that.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. So.
Last but not least, my pick, 1408.
14-0 motherfucking 8.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on this because I think that we've discussed this, like, in the past.
No, because I do not recall this movie at all until you told me to watch it.
All right.
So.
1408, it's a writer. He's like...
John Cusack.
John Cusack. His job is to go and write about haunted hotels, haunted places. And he gets a postcard, check out room 1408 in the city at this hotel. He goes to go and check it out. Chaos ensues, and there's your movie, pretty much.
I highly enjoyed this movie.
You did.
This was my favorite movie of your 3. honestly.
Nice.
Hang on.
Nice.
He's high-fiving me right
I
now.
am. Because I hold this movie in very high regards.
I had never heard of it.
Are you serious?
I haven't.
No. I am going to call shenanigans right now. Because I know for a fact we've known each other for many a year. And I'm pretty sure we've argued about this movie in a bar somewhere at some point in our lives.
We could not. You have to be confusing it because I do not recall this movie until you told me to watch it.
Okay.
But I really liked it. Now, I judge a lot of
Okay.
these movies. I judge on if I watch it and then tell someone else to watch it.
You have definitely, at some point in time, told me this movie was trash.
100. No, absolutely not.
100%.
Absolutely not.
100%.
No.
You have told me this movie was trash before.
You are totally thinking of probably fucking Event Horizon. No.
No, I'm not thinking of Event Horizon.
No.
All right.
Because I remember, like it was so long ago. It was freaking a week ago. I watched this movie. I went to my sister's house the next day, and I told my sister and my brother-in-law, I'm like, you guys need to watch this fucking movie.
Okay.
Which is the same thing that I did with Dog Soldiers.
Right.
Is still, to this day, I'm still like, oh my God, Dog Soldiers. I just found out that it's leaving Shudder this month, and I'm sad. Anyway, 1408, number 1, has John Cusack in it.
Okay.
Fucking love John Cusack.
Yep.
Then Samuel L. pops up randomly, and I'm like, this just got so much better.
Samuel L. Jackson is the manager at the Dolphin Hotel, and he tries to talk John Cusack out of staying in room 1408.
I did look up when they were talking about room 1408. I don't know why, but like it made me go and double check if that was the same room number as The Shining. Mm-hmm. It was not.
Nope.
But for some reason I was like, I think it's the same number. Oh my God, that would be so cool. There was a random Encyclopedia Brown reference, which if you're a kid from the 80s, you know Encyclopedia Brown. I don't know. I really liked it. I liked like the whole, like the creeping, and I love the fact that the Carpenters' We've Only Just Begun song
keeps coming up.
Because when you think of the Carpenters, you're like, oh, it's the Carpenters.
This room is like haunted.
It's so nice. It's so cookie cutter. But the Carpenters were fucked up. Like, he had a drug problem. She died from anorexia.
You're thinking too much into it.
I am thinking too much into it, but that's what I thought.
The room is somehow haunted, right? There's so many people have died and killed themselves in this room.
And Samuel L. Jackson
from natural
told John
and
Cusack,
unnatural causes.
no one has lasted longer than an hour.
Did you notice the alarm clock counting down?
Counting down from 60 minutes.
The alarm clock counts down from 60 minutes. And every time the room fucks with John Cusack, you hear "We've Only Just Begun" in the background.
Yes. And then you have this random side plot of John Cusack and his wife, ex-wife, I don't even know, and their daughter. And like the daughter apparently died, I'm assuming, of cancer.
I forget how the daughter dies, but John Cusack can't handle it.
Yes.
So he needs, I'm sure the way the character would explain it is he needs time to just kind of figure shit out. And he just kind of bounces for a year.
Yes. And the wife calls him on it at some point because he calls her during this and she's like, what the fuck? You've been gone. You just left me by myself to deal with all of this.
Yep.
And he has no explanation about it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Go ahead. I'm so glad you actually enjoy this movie.
I really liked this movie. I did. And I don't even have that many notes about it because I was so engrossed in it.
Oh, good.
As I was watching it.
Good, I'm glad.
One thing that annoyed me, though. So in the beginning-ish of the movie, John Cusack goes surfing. Right?
Yes.
And he gets crashed by a big wave. And they pull him up and, like, they do CPR and whatever. You think he's okay. Mm-hmm. The movie happens, things go on, and then all of a sudden you revert back to that scene.
They make it seem like the entire...
like the whole... And I said the last
all
thing...
the shenanigans was just a dream.
The last thing I wrote down, if this thing was a fucking dream, this would have been my mist. How you thought of the mist. That's... If this whole thing was a dream, that's what I would have thought of this movie. I would have been like, well, fuck you, the whole thing sucks now. But alas, it did not. It did not. He ends up, like, back in the room for a point, and there's just oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I could rewatch it right now.
Do you know? So, funny thing about this movie is, I spelled this before. There are 4 endings to this movie.
I did read that there was an alternate ending.
There are 4 endings.
Really?
The original ending, I forget.
So
which...
the ending I saw, before you get into the ending
Go for it.
I saw was John Cusack is in the apartment. Him and his wife have obviously gotten back together.
Okay.
And he's trying to explain to his wife that he saw his daughter.
Okay.
And his wife is kind of like, okay, you had a trauma, blah, blah, blah. He finds the charred tape recorder from the hotel. And miraculously, it still plays. And on it is the conversation between him and his daughter in the hotel. And his wife overhears it. And that's the end of the movie. Which I was like, oh, yes.
I'm so glad that's the ending you got.
I heard in one ending he, like, dies.
There's an ending where, you know how he sets the room on fire?
Yes.
That's his way of defeating the room.
Mm-hmm.
There's an ending where he dies in the room.
That would have pissed me off.
And Samuel L. Jackson goes to the funeral at the grave and tries to consult the wife. And he tries to give the wife like a box of stuff. And she says, no, I don't want it. Samuel L. Jackson goes back to the car. Samuel L. Jackson pulls out the tape recorder that's charred, hits play, and hears the daughter's voice. That's not the best ending.
Because you know why? Because one thing that annoyed me about this movie is Samuel L. Jackson really tries to talk John Cusack out of staying in it.
Yeah.
He offers him this like $1,500 bottle of champagne, which John Cusack then drinks out of a freaking random ass plastic cup, which really bothered me. Just me being me really bothered me.
Wait, that's not what happens.
Or no, he drinks out it, or out of what? Out of a bathroom glass.
Incorrect. He offers him an $800 bottle of scotch with John.
It was not scotch, it was champagne.
It was either scotch or whiskey.
There was a close-up of it, and it says champagne on the bottle.
Fuck's sake. It's either a bottle of champagne or whiskey, and John Cusack drinks it straight from the bottle.
No, the thing that I said, and I literally wrote down, I'm offended you're drinking an $800 bottle out of a bathroom mug.
Okay. There's another thing where it's the label's in French, and I think the French translation is like the 47 souls or whatever.
Oh, really?
Whatever it is. It's however many people have died plus 1, insinuating that John Cusack
was going to die.
Was going to be that iteration.
Intriguing. I didn't notice that. Oh God, what the hell was my point before? Oh, so Samuel L. Jackson knows that nobody lasted. Why does nobody come and check up on him?
What do you mean?
Like nobody, like, hey, you okay in there? You dead yet? Like nobody comes.
Well,
to
time
check
is
up
fluid because remember he calls the guy for the thermostat,
and then the guy
right?
won't come in and all that. But like, if you're Samuel L. Jackson, why aren't you like
every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So legally, they have to rent the apartment, the hotel room, right?
That was my other thing. Why not just completely shut the room down and pretend it doesn't exist?
Why not just take out the toilet?
Why would you take out the toilet? Because then you don't have to rent the room because there's
there
no
you
toilet?
go.
Oh. I had written that down too, though. I was like, why don't you just... It's like places that have a 13th floor.
And the other thing that bothered me, buildings in the city don't have those windows.
Okay. The scene, though, with the hand in the window?
Yeah. For some reason, a common theme is jumping out the window of this building. And so it's like your regular window in the house where you slide the window up and you can kind of prop your upper body out.
It's like, an original.
Like a regular window.
Yeah, like an original
that's not how windows are in the city. You can't just do that. They either open from the top, they swing out, or you have a fire escape, or there's something.
Windows in my classroom swing out.
Yeah, there's something to prevent you from just jumping out the window.
Because I think that the problem was those high-rise buildings. It was a safety issue.
Yeah.
Like, what's his face's kid?
Who?
Eric Clapton's kid that fell out of one of those windows. What was I going to say?
I was ready to fight you on this movie. I didn't think you would like this.
I very highly enjoy, and it's based on a true story, apparently.
Is it?
Yes.
What's the true
San
story?
Diego Hotel del Coronado
Okay.
is where he got his inspiration, apparently, for this story.
Mm-hmm.
And the writer's name was Christopher Chacon,
Okay.
who was basically, I guess, kind of what John Cusack's character was based off of.
All right.
Because I did research a little. No, I disagree that I told you this movie was trash.
I remember you saying specifically you didn't like John Cusack.
Hold the phone. Number one, fuck you.
Fuck
That's
me,
a
you
lie.
said it.
I never said that. I love John Cusack. One Crazy Summer? Better Off Dead? I'm sorry. It's John Cusack. Say anything? I am a child of the 80s. I grew up on John Hughes movies.
Listen, I'm just saying
No,
that I know for a fact
not me.
you have told me that this movie was garbage
Not
once before.
me. Absolutely not.
Not
I
today,
would
not
never
yesterday.
In my
Probably
life
like 5 years ago, you said this movie's
No,
trash.
I would never in my life say that I did not like John Cusack. John Cusack's amazing.
I laughed. There's a point where John Cusack, I forget if it's this hotel or the previous one, he has to screw a light bulb in to turn a lamp on.
I was a little...
I used to live in a house where I had to do that.
Oh, God. I was a little...
I think it was last episode I spoke about the house I lived in that had the asbestos.
Yes.
The
Yes, when we were talking about...
the light in the bathroom, we didn't have a switch. So to turn the light on, you would have to screw the light bulb in. To turn the light off, you'd have to unscrew it just a little bit.
God. I feel... all I can feel like is like the hot light bulb.
Yeah, it kind of burned a little
Honestly.
bit. Well, you just don't do it too tight.
Yeah, but still. I lost my train of thought now.
I miss that house.
I totally lost my train of thought. Blame the tequila.
What about when he... Remember when he first gets into room 1408 and turns the black light on?
Oh, yeah, and he's going over everything.
And it just looks like there's semen everywhere?
Gross. First time I ever experienced a movie that had that kind of blacklight, It was a TV movie. Valerie Bertinelli, Eddie Van Halen's ex-wife.
Okay.
It was called In a Child's Name.
Okay.
1991.
Valerie Bertinelli.
Yes.
She
is now on the Food Network.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Valerie's
all right,
Home
all right,
Cooking.
right.
In a Child's Name. And like the guy, she plays the sister of the woman who gets killed.
Okay.
And like the investigators come in and they spray the stuff luminol everywhere to see like what happened, and they turn off the lights. And I remember it was like one of the, like in the 80s and the early 90s, these made for TV movies were like the two-parters.
Yeah.
So at the end of the first part,
it was a two-parter.
At the end of the first part is when they turn on the
Do you remember The
light.
Shining? They had the made-for-TV Shining.
I have that on VHS.
That was pretty good, right?
Yeah,
it was pretty
right.
good.
It was okay.
It was pretty good. It was better than you thought it was going to be.
It was better. I enjoyed, oh God, what was the guy's name that played Jack Torrance in it?
Couldn't tell you.
He was in a popular
Did you ever see
show
the
at
Jack
time.
Torrance YouTube channel?
No.
Oh my God, I'll show it to you later.
Oh God.
It's fucked up.
It's a Jack Torrance YouTube channel.
It's fucked up.
I can't.
It's fucked up.
Anyway. One thing that annoyed me about this movie is in the very beginning of the movie, John Cusack checks into like a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And it's just like one and done.
Yeah.
I was like, well, wait, are we here? Are we not here? How did we go from here to there? Why did you just, It was just very abrupt. I felt like if you weren't going to explain it more, it wasn't needed.
I think that was just to give you an idea of what his expectation was.
And they lead you up to think that, like, everything he writes about is bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Until then he finds this room. And the whole time he's like, whatever. It's a lie. It's this. And then it's like, oh, it's not a lie. You're going to die, yo. No, I would rate this movie a solid 10 out of 12.
Nice.
10 out of 12, 100%.
I'll be honest, I give this a 9 out of 12 because it depends on which ending you get. The endings, honestly, they're either solid or they're absolute garbage.
I could see being annoyed if you got the ending that John Cusack just died.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. I
hold this movie in high regards. I think this is one of the best movies that's come out in the last,
It was what, 2007?
Yeah.
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 I
think
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did.
Good. I'm glad.
And I don't really agree with you that I ever said it was trash.
You definitely did, though.
I did not. You totally
You
think
did.
somebody else.
So is that it for today? We out of movies?
I think we are.
I think we are.
I mean, I almost feel like we could do an episode eventually of like the more popular Stephen King movies.
So I think
But I feel like we're on the same track with them.
we also agreed that we're not going to do the same movie twice.
No, we never agreed to that.
Can we agree that we're not going to do the same movie twice?
Oh, God, you're just making my life so difficult. Okay. I wish I would have known. Well, not that we're really going to revisit some of these things, but I agree to that with prejudice.
Fair enough.
As they say in
Fair
court.
enough.
As they
Fair
say.
enough.
Oh my God, can we do courtroom movies?
What do you mean courtroom movies?
Like courtroom dramas? Oh my God. Oh God, we could just talk about A Time to Kill for 3 hours.
Can we not?
Why?
You've
probably never even seen A Time to Kill.
I've never seen A Time to Kill.
So fuck you.
I'm just trying to think of all the courtroom movies I know, besides Liar Liar.
That does not count.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
What do you define a courtroom movie?
A Time to Kill, The Lincoln Lawyer, Primal Fear. Oh, you would love Primal Fear. You would enjoy Primal Fear. And then plus, you know, A Time to Kill, Lincoln Lawyer. That's 2 McConaughey's in one shot.
How about made-for-TV movies?
I feel like I haven't seen a lot of made-for-TV movies. And I feel like my one go-to made-for-TV movie, you could debate if it's considered a horror movie.
What?
I would totally pick Helter Skelter from the 70s, based on the Charles Manson murders.
What is it?
What do you mean, what is it? I just explained it.
No, like, is it a documentary or is
It's
it
a
like
made-for-TV movie based on the book Helter Skelter, which was written by the main prosecutor.
Okay.
But you have to watch...
I would give you that.
You have to watch the one from the 70s, not the remake, which was from like 2009.
Yeah.
I don't know very many. I watched like Lifetime made-for-TV movies. You could watch In a Child's Name, but it's more like dramatic.
We could do movies that... I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I do feel like we could revisit the more popular Stephen King aspect of the genre at some point.
We could.
You know?
We could.
And I do feel like we're definitely going to do a psych thriller revisit at some point.
Oh, we most certainly are, because I already know what my movies are going to be.
Oh, God help me. God help me. After you made me watch fucking Creep.
Did you watch Parasite yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God.
That's
such a good movie.
It's at like the forefront of my mind all the time to watch, and I haven't seen it yet.
That's such a good movie.
What I have heard of it, I know that I will enjoy it.
You will.
I haven't watched it yet, though. All right.
Well, we'll figure it out. Until then,
the fact that we never like say really what the next episode is going to be because we don't fucking know.
We don't know.
That's why you should follow the Twitter.
So you have to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And I think that's all we have, right?
That is it.
That is it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let you know what movies to watch beforehand.
Yes.
Feel free to post on whether you agree or disagree with our ratings. What would you rate? What would you rate these movies?
If you have a suggestion of movies to watch or a theme for us, send it our way.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, we're all for it. All for it.
All for it. All right. Peace out, Cub Scouts. You've been watching A Perfect Mess. We will see you next time. You've been watching A Perfect Mess? They haven't been watching anything.
They've been listening.
Oh my God, that was funny. I almost stopped it.
And we would have left it too.
I would have left it.
You have been listening.
You've been listening.
To A Perfect Mess.
I'll tell you what, I'll keep that in. Bye, guys.
This is what I deal with.
Bye.